Hey everyone, this is PM Sport Talk, the father and son duo podcast. I'm your host Preston, alongside my father Mike, and Dad. How are we doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great. Another winter sports have finished up. Great weekend for those. Can't wait to get into it. Let's go.
Yep, and then we get into the summer where we have, one sport?
Baseball, a little bit of golf.
How about the World Cup, huh?
World Cup? Yeah, I almost forgot. Geez, how come I forgot that?
I don't know. I don't think you're a big fan of it, are you?
I'm going to try to get into it because since it's here in the U.S. and Canada and Mexico, so it's here. It's not here that often, so I'll try to get into it a little bit as long as the Americans are still involved. If they're not involved, then I'll probably have a hard time with it, but I'm going to try. No guarantees, though, but I will give it a try.
A lot of people like the American team this year, so we'll see how far they can really go. Let's start off with, we actually, Dad, had a fan, aka one of our top listeners, Todd McPherson, reach out and request that we discuss on the ruling. I don't know if you heard about this, about Brendan Sorsby.
Yes. Well, what was the actual ruling? Is it the one that they're going to let him play?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that one, yes.
So Brendan Sorsby is the new Texas Tech quarterback. Who was he with last year? Cincinnati, right?
Cincinnati, I believe, yes.
Well, he found out that he did a lot of gambling on college football of all sports. I'm not positive of this, but I think he even bet on his own team to win.
Yes, he did, yeah.
He bet on them to win.
That's what they said.
So take that into account. He didn't bet on them to lose, so nobody's throwing a game or anything, so there's that. But the Big 12 is all up in a big uproar. The other teams don't want to play Texas Tech because, he's been found to gamble and, but a judge ruled that he is allowed to play. I don't know the exact reasons why. I didn't really get into that. But so now I believe, I think I saw it today. Where the Big 12 is suing. Are they suing Texas Tech and the Texas AG, Attorney General, because of this ruling? Because they don't want to play him and all this other stuff. So, I was wondering, where do you fall on this?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really understand why he's allowed to play. I mean,
Isn't it a
we've
rule?
seen this time and time again. Maybe if he's betting on, other sports,
Wouldn't have as big a problem.
wouldn't
right?
be that big of an issue. Probably nobody would really pay no mind to it. Obviously, it's going to be a talk because the gambling's involved, but it wouldn't have much impact on college football. Yeah, I guess you can throw in the argument that he's not throwing a game clearly because he bet on his own team to win. And he, I don't know if this was. I'm not gonna make assumptions. But he made the statement that he's trying to get help for it. He's in rehab, gambling rehab, or wherever that is. Whether that's true or false, I can't comment on. So, but I mean,
yeah, I get.
it's weird because it even if he's betting on his own team, we've seen people do that and still get penalized for it. And Brendan Sorsby was a big get for Texas Tech, so many people probably think that he's getting a little bit of leeway here.
Yeah, there's a lot of money involved. Texas Tech is one of the big spenders. They were in the big spenders getting the playoff last year. And, that, money talks, these big, especially in college sports. It's unreal.
Oh, yeah.
But even though he bet on his team to win, there's always going to be that suspicion there. And people are going to be like, well, they don't really know. Is he betting to win? I mean, obviously, I think now that they know about it, I don't know if he'd be able to get away with gambling because everybody's going to know, right? You can't hide it.
Yeah.
So if he's gambling, you're going to know. But I guess, there's ways around it. You get family members to do it. You get friends to do it for you, and all this other stuff. But
Yeah.
I don't think he should be allowed to play. Part of me, because I just, there's just too much there. And these weren't just a bet here and a bet there. They were
Oh, he made a lot of bets.
They were small money bets, but he made a lot of them. I thought I saw like 80 to 100 bets, or maybe it was more than that. There were a ton of bets. So he's clearly out there doing it a lot. So, and now you wouldn't think he would need to, but he's going to make all sorts of money at Texas Tech with the NIL stuff. But I think there's just too much suspicion there. I don't think he should be allowed to play. I do think that the other teams in the Big 12, I don't think they care about the gambling. I think they are just using it as a reason to get him not to play because he's pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't.
That absolutely.
I
is
don't
the
want to
reason
hear
why.
from. I don't. They're coming off as this holier than thou. They're all this stuff. That's not the reason they don't want him to play. They don't want him to play because he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
So they're going to use this to get him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And he shouldn't be there anyway. So
I agree.
That's how I feel about it. But I don't want to hear the one thing that I heard last week was Georgia, which is not in the Big 12, said that none of their teams in the state of Georgia would play Texas Tech. And like the University of Georgia has had players and staffers involved in drag racing and all this other stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Where people have been killed.
Oh my gosh.
I don't want to hear from Georgia about a kid that was gambling.
That is that's the last team to be talking. I mean,
they don't need to be talking.
It's almost like they promote reckless driving. I mean, with how much it's happened there, it's crazy.
People were killed. This kid he has a gambling problem, and he probably shouldn't be allowed to play. But he hasn't, as far as I know, hasn't killed anybody.
No.
So
No.
for teams from Georgia to even comment on this is like, we don't want to hear from you.
No.
Gambling is a
Nobody
problem.
wants to hear from them.
He's got an addiction problem probably. It's serious. Could be a serious thing. I don't want to make light of it, but he hasn't killed anybody. So let's put it in perspective. Get the kid help if he needs help, and he probably shouldn't be allowed to play. That's where I stand.
Hey, you made some good points there. I mean, he, as long as he didn't throw games, then I guess, sure, he shouldn't be allowed to play. But as long as he's not out there throwing games, then I guess it's not that big of a deal. If he were to play, it's more the fact that probably if some random player did this who's just trying to work his way up, you got to think about it like that. They probably wouldn't be getting that leeway. They probably wouldn't be getting this treatment. Sorsby is getting this treatment is because he can turn around Texas Tech and he's a great quarterback. So that is why I find it a little wrong that this is being ruled. I don't know why it was ruled, whether that's they don't have enough evidence to say he was out there throwing games.
I don't know why the judge overturned this. I'm sure there's some loopholes there or whatever. But
was it a Texas judge?
Well, I think that's why the Big 12 is suing the Texas.
Because Trinidad Chambliss kind of similarly, he got denied eligibility until he went to a Mississippi alum. I think that was a judge, and just like that was overturned. So, yeah, college football has a problem. If they cannot, if players can just go around and go to whatever judge they want to make sure that they can play and they get stuff overturned, college football has a serious problem on their hands.
Yeah, college football has always college basketball has always had a dirty side to it. Now it's just out in the open where you can see it more. And they do have a problem. I don't know the solution, but allowing players to play, like this probably is not a good way to go about it.
No.
You got to start somewhere. Not only that, wouldn't this be like his 5th or 6th year?
Yeah.
So
Trinidad
6th. And what's Sorsby? He's up there too.
He's got to be 5th probably.
I mean, that needs to be cut down to 4. This 5 and 6 year guys playing, that's a whole nother topic.
The only way I think a player should get an extra year of eligibility is if they are injured for the entire year
Right, injured. That's
and
the
they
only way.
don't play a single snap. I don't. If you're benched and you don't play a single snap, sorry, I don't care. The only way I think players should get extra eligibility is if it is due to injury.
An injury exemption, and that's the only way. Yeah, this business of just transferring and getting more years, and that needs to come to an end.
Will it? I don't think so. Probably not, but it does.
Yeah, they got to do something.
Well, we'll leave that there, and people watching on YouTube, you guys can leave a comment. What do you think about the Brendan Sorsby situation? Did the judge make the right call overruling it, or do you have a problem with it? Leave your comments down below. We'll move on to our next topic here. 2 championships, you said, and let's take a look last night at our brand new 2026 Stanley Cup champions. That would be, ladies and gentlemen, the Carolina Hurricanes. They take down Vegas. You picked Carolina to win this series. I picked Vegas. I was rooting for Carolina, not gonna lie. It was just a good story. They haven't won one since what, 2006?
I believe.
Yeah.
Yes, 2006.
Yeah, 2006. And what's really cool is Jordan Stahl. What's the award for this? For like the MVP award?
Conn Smythe.
Conn Smythe, yes. And Jordan Stahl won it. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, didn't his brother win it with the 2006 Hurricanes team?
No, or did he?
Eric Stahl?
Eric Stahl was on that team, but I don't think he won it. I think Brindamore won it that year.
Oh, really?
I think the coach won it.
Yeah. That's actually super cool that he won that one Stanley Cup with them, and now he's coaching them to another.
Yeah.
That's great stuff right there.
Yeah, he won it, and then he came the coach, and now Stahl has won it, and his brother, you're like, right, his brother was on that team too. So, yeah, unbelievable. It's Jordan Stahl that won the Conn Smythe last night.
He didn't score a goal in only one game this series. This was a 6-game series.
Yeah, he scored 5 goals. He was awesome. He's the oldest player to ever win the Conn Smythe. Just had a fountain of youth in this playoffs. He was excellent for them. Got all the big goals and well deserved. Because if you didn't give it to him, I don't know who else you could, because they really won it as a team.
They did. Yes.
They had a lot of good players, but they don't have a real superstar. So kudos to him. He's the captain. He deserved it.
And talk about stepping up when your name is called on. That's Brandon Bussey, the tender for this team. Isn't he a rookie?
He's a 27-year-old. I believe he hasn't played an NHL game until this playoff.
And he was put in.
Or started.
He didn't start till the Stanley Cup final, correct?
He didn't start till game 3 or 4. He started. I think he came in game 3. I think he started game 4. We never really found out, was Frederick Anderson hurt, benched? Don't know.
Freddie Anderson, I think I had a suspicion he was hurt after
that hit.
He got hit. He took a stick to the helmet as well. And I think it started with him being hurt. And once they saw how good Brandon Bussey was, they just rode the hot hand.
Yeah, that was smart by Brindamore. I don't know. The way Anderson was playing, I don't know if they win this, because he was good all through the playoffs, but he was a little shaky in the first couple games there. So I don't know if they stick with him if they win, to be honest with you. I think that was a great move, whether it's because of injury or just, I think a little bit of both. Like you said, I think it was injury to start with, but they didn't want to bring him back because Bussey was playing good. And, that was the right move. Brindamore definitely made the right move.
Bussey, and with the game he came in, game 3, I mean, he let in a lot of goals, but 2 of those were hidden by his own team. So it was kind of hard to judge him on that game. But man, I was watching him in that first overtime period, third period. He was making save after save against Vegas, and Vegas ended up getting that win in that game with the tap in by, I believe it was Jordan Martinook. But I mean, what a job by Carolina. I mean, we watched them against Philly, Ottawa. Many people were like, "Oh, those two aren't real teams," but I don't know. Carolina just impressed me, and I was like, "This is a team that can go out and win a Stanley Cup," and that's exactly what they did.
Well, they were one of the favorites going in, but you didn't know if they were going to they've been to the championship round multiple times and always lost.
Yes.
So, we weren't sure if they were going to get over the hump, but they did. And even after, they were down 2-1 in this series, and I was like, that game 4 that they won, if they don't win that, they're probably not winning.
Talk about that game 2 comeback they had as well.
Yes.
That game was huge because if you lose the first 2 games at home in the Stanley Cup final, is it hard to come back from that.
Yeah, you're probably not going to win. Yeah, that was huge. It's kind of weird because it seemed like Vegas was the better team in the first 3 games, and then it just flipped where Carolina was the better team the rest of the way. And hats off to them turning it around. And sometimes when you change goalies, the team changes too. It just gives them a little spark. They know they got to play real well for a different goalie, and just sometimes that just is all it takes. And it doesn't take much sometimes in hockey. Hockey's a weird sport like that. In basketball, a lot of times the star player wins, but in hockey it's just different. And they, like I said, there's no star players on this team. They're just a team of really good players, and they were good all season, and it was just their time. And they are Stanley Cup champions. Kudos to them. It's pretty good, since they moved to Carolina, they've won 2 cups. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was listening to somebody on the radio today, how a caller in on a radio show, and they were talking about how since Carolina came into Raleigh, which how big hockey has gotten down there, and when they first moved there back whenever it was, early 2000s, or maybe it was before that even. I'm not positive, but hockey wasn't that big down there, but now it's really grown, and kudos to them to bring it home. It's kind of weird, Carolina and Vegas. I'm an old school guy. I like the big city teams. I like Boston, Montreal, the Rangers, all those. Those are the kind of teams I always root for to be in there. So it's a little different, but they were the best team. And another thing I heard was this is the 7th or 8th time in a row Stanley Cup winners come from a team from the South.
Really?
You had Florida, Tampa. Florida won a couple. Tampa's won a couple. Vegas, they consider Sun Belt. They've won one. Now Carolina. So hockey's gotten, pretty big down south.
Yeah.
It's just a strange thing to say, but hey.
It's true.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. I do want to mention before we move on, you see John Tortorella saying he's going to leave his clothes in Carolina after losing Game 5?
I missed that. When did he say that? Post-game?
Yes, post-game interview. They asked him how confident he was that there's going to be a Game 7. He goes, I'm leaving my clothes here in Carolina.
I did see that. Yeah, that was funny. I thought they would make a Game 7 out of it too, but I think they just ran out of gas. It looked like watching that game last night.
Man, they had a lot of chances too, and how about that one save Bussy made? Hit off the crossbar and it just fell right into his glove.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Eichel had one off the crossbar as well. I mean,
yeah, they
had lots of chances in this game, and Bussy was able to hold his own and get a shutout.
Yeah, sometimes it's just your time, and it was their time to win it.
Just one question. We'll leave a little debate here. Do you think Tortorella, he was pretty adamant about it, saying no, but do you think Tortorella should have considered pulling Carter Hart? I mean, he sure they were winning, but that guy let in a lot of goals every game.
Yeah, he was the first goalie to let in 4+ goals in the first 5 games of the final. I don't know playoffs or if it's just the Stanley Cup final, but that was a stat out there. And last night's the only game he didn't, and they lost 3-0. But I mean, it was only 2 he let in, so he actually played pretty good last night. Their backup, I don't know how good he is.
Didn't I swear one of their goalies was on their Stanley Cup championship winning team, and now he's like goalie number 3.
That's possible. I'm not really.
Aiden Hill, I think his name
Oh
is.
yes, yeah. He was good, but yeah. I guess because the games were so close that he probably didn't feel like it was necessary. Unlike Carolina, who had an injury kind of lead to theirs. And Hart had been really good. He's probably one of the reasons why they got there. So I guess I understand that. I don't think I would have pulled him either.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that as a topic of discussion. I don't know.
It's not far out there though.
Yeah, no.
If he would have done that, I guess I wouldn't have had too much problem with it.
Yeah, no, I probably wouldn't have. I mean, sure he let in 4 goals, but yeah, like you said, you kind of got to trust your guy when he's been the guy all playoffs and he's got you to that Stanley Cup. Unfortunately, just fell just short, and Carolina wins the Stanley Cup championship 6 games 4-2. We now move on to the NBA. This will most likely be our final topic of discussion, where we also have our NBA champions. That's the New York Knicks. They defeat the Spurs in a series that went to 5 games. Jalen Brunson wins Finals MVP. He had 45 points in the closeout game. And, I mean, you're probably, if you're a box score watcher, you see 4-1 and you're like, man, that was a horrible series. This was probably, I know it was 4-1, Dad, but this is probably one of the best finals I've watched in a long time.
Every game came right to the end. The only thing missing was if San Antonio would have just won one more game, it'd be a really good series, great series. But because they gave up the lead every fourth quarter, this team had leads, double-digit leads every game, and the fourth quarters were always the Knicks coming back and the Spurs trying to hold them off. And then quite often the Knicks would go ahead, but then the Spurs would come back and go ahead. They would kind of respond, but they just never had enough they just couldn't get over the hump. And the Knicks, I guess the biggest difference, what I'll take from this, the reason why the Knicks won, in my opinion, well, there's a couple reasons. But one of the big reasons is they had a guy that can close games, and San Antonio doesn't.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson is a closer. He's a great scorer, and that's what you need to close out games. You need somebody that can put the ball in the basket.
And those moments as well.
In those moments in the Spurs, whether they're just too young or what. Wembanyama, as great of a freakish player that he is, a great defensive player, his offensive game still needs a lot of work.
Oh, yeah. He's not physical at all. I mean, if you're 7'4", you need to learn how to be physical. I mean, he's flopping. One shot that he really had down that I wish he went more to was the sort of the pull-up jumper from the elbow or just inside the three-point line. But like you said, man, I mean, he was sort of almost frustrating to watch when he was on the offensive side of the ball.
When you need a big bucket at the end of the game, he can't do it.
No.
He's not yet. I'm not saying he won't be able to, but not yet. And another thing that I've noticed with him is he is extremely tired at the end of these games. And he gets plenty of breaks during these games. Not so much the last game, because when Cornette comes in, the team falls apart. He's not a good enough backup for him, I don't think. But I don't know what they can do with him, why he's so tired at the end of these games, but they have to work on that, because if he is going to be tired at the end of these games. They're never going to win.
No.
Because he's the. You can see it because he's missing free throws too, and he's a really good free throw shooter. And he's just when you miss free throws, it's usually because you're tired at the end of these games, and he's tired. You can just see it on him, and he's indecisive. But going forward, he either needs to. I'm sure he will. He's only 22, but he's got to develop a close to the basket move shot that he consistently makes. Like Tim Duncan, when he was with the Spurs, had that bank shot that he would make 9 times out of 10 when you needed a big bucket, and they need that from him.
I agree. 100%.
Otherwise, he can do all the things. He can handle the ball as a 7'5" guy and make some threes now and then. But if he can't make a consistent shot when you need to make it in the crunch time, he's not going to be an all-time great.
Oh, no. Yeah, you saw that. He missed that one jumper in Game 2 that me and you both thought was an excellent look for him. Should have knocked it down. And I just feel like Wemby in the Spurs, in these big moments, I think, I don't want to say panicked, but they kind of got the yips, maybe, the finals. This is a very young team. One person I'm not going to call young, I'm not going to give excuses to, I am not going to sugarcoat, that's De'Aaron Fox.
Horrible.
I don't know what on earth he is doing out there. And I am so, I feel so bad for Dylan Harper. What more can that guy do? Every time the ball's in his hands, every time he gets to the paint, it's a bucket. He can't miss at the rim. This guy was doing everything right. He had 25 points in Game 5. Fox was in at the end of the game. Dylan Harper averaged over 30 points in the NBA Finals. Guess who was in at the end of the game? De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox is a veteran. He's got to know when you're up by 1 and you go recover the ball and the other team has to foul you, make them foul you. Why is he shooting when OG Anunoby is trailing on his back at the layup? Not to mention the very careless turnovers the only veteran on this team was making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was horrible.
He is here to be a leader. And the fact that he wasn't performing, 7 points, 3 for 15 in a must-win game, win or go home in the NBA Finals. He looked like he didn't even care out there. And Mitch Johnson, he's done a tremendous job with this squad, but that is one of the big mistakes he made, was having Dylan Harper sit and watch this team in the end of the games.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox was brought into this team to be the veteran presence, to be the point guard, to run the show. And I didn't watch a ton of their games in the regular season. As you know, I'm not a big regular season basketball guy. Too much going on, football, everything else.
Yeah.
But so I don't know how he was their second leading scorer in the regular season, so he must have played halfway decent. But in this final, he was absolutely mind-bogglingly horrible. It's one thing to miss shots. You get in slumps, but the turnovers, the mistakes that he was making rookie mistakes that the other guys who are young were not making, but he was making them, and he's a 9-year veteran. And he's got a huge contract that they gave him. So, they're kind of stuck with him, probably anyway. And I don't know, geez, going forward with him, if you get back to this position again, are you going to trust De'Aaron Fox in the big spot?
I don't know if the Spurs are going to hold on to De'Aaron Fox.
Maybe they can get rid of him.
Dylan Harper has made it pretty public that he was pretty upset that he wasn't in the game when the team needed a bucket, the team needed a clutch player. He was upset that he wasn't in the game, and honestly, I'll usually call a player a diva for coming out and spilling team problems in post-game interviews. In this case, I'm not going to do that because he is rightfully, sure, it might hurt team chem. Devin Vassell brought it up, so clearly it didn't hurt much at all. But Dylan Harper has every right to be upset that he wasn't in these games. I don't know if you watched him play. That's not a rookie basketball player, even though by the book, he's a rookie.
Yeah, he's not a rookie anymore. No, he was stopped being a rookie a long time ago. At 25 points, he was their leading scorer. In 31 minutes he played. I mean, like I said, Fox played 37
Fox
minutes.
playing almost 40 minutes when he shot 3 of 15 is actually disgusting.
Yeah, he shouldn't have been in there at the end of the game. Just couldn't make a shot. I know they.
I yeah.
I know that the game that they did win, he made the big shot. So I guess that's why they were sticking with him, because they hoped that he could do it again. But between
You can't hope in a championship series. You have to play by who is performing, who is out there giving you production that's positive. That was Dylan Harper. That was not De'Aaron Fox.
No, it wasn't. And this series, the loss goes on two guys, De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. Those are the two guys that failed the most at the end of these games. And, one's a supposed superstar and the other's supposed to be a veteran, very good player.
The two leading scorers for the team in the regular season.
Yeah, and they failed this team at the end. I know De'Aaron Fox had an injury in the last series. But the old adage goes, if you're playing, you're not hurt. If you're hurt, you're not playing. So you can't use it as an excuse.
I'll tell you something right now. Going into the offseason, Dylan Harper, Stephon Castle, Victor Wembanyama, Devin Vassell, and most likely Julian Champagny, they don't have to worry. They are safe on this team. The rest of the roster needs to be reevaluated, and that includes De'Aaron Fox. I know you paid him a lot of money. You're probably stuck with him, but if you do decide to move him, that would be, in terms of the team, the right move.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe they can trade him. Maybe somebody. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody that would want him, but I don't know if they'd want that contract. But I mean, I don't know. The NBA contracts I really don't know the workings of those. They're a little different. But yeah, like you said, Luke Cornett too. I don't expect much from him, but there's a big time drop off from him. He just has no offensive game at all. I mean, when he would go out, when not at the end of the games, but in the middle of the games, when he would go out, lots of times when Wembanyama would go take a break, lots of times they'd be up 10, 12 points. And then when Luke Cornett came in, they'd cut the lead down to like 5 because of the defense.
Yeah.
Uh,
Wemby, he played 38 minutes, which what's an NBA 24, 30, 48? You need to find a way to get Victor Wembanyama in the game for at least 40 minutes. I know he is tired at the end of these games. You got to find a way to fix that because that's not going to fly.
I heard yeah.
It's either that or, like you said, find a better backup center. At this point, go sign another 7 foot tall and change freak and see what they can do.
You either need to find a defensive guy or one that can score, one or the other. It gives you something different. Maybe you find somebody close to 7 feet that has a polished game that can score down low. Well, when Wembanyama's not in there, so at least you can score. He's not going to be as good defensively. Nobody is. I mean, Wembanyama, that's the one part of his game throughout this whole series that I can't quibble about. He was awesome on the defense. He was blocking shots for a 7'5" guy, and maybe this is why he's so tired too. You don't usually see 7'5" guys go from under the basket out to the 3-point line and back and all over on the same series, right? Blocking shots and
correct, yeah.
So maybe because he's moving around so much, that's why he gets so tired at the end of these games.
It could be.
So they need to adjust. They need to figure it out, whatever it is. Whether he just doesn't. And another thing is he doesn't play a lot of minutes in the regular season, so he's not used to playing these minutes.
Yeah.
So maybe they need to ramp up his minutes towards the end of the season better. I'm sure there's a multitude of things they need to do.
And they got to figure it out.
They got to figure it out because he's got all the skills. They just need to figure out his scoring around the basket. And some of that's that European mindset too, where these big guys want to be 3-point shooters all the time. And that's fine. That's part of what makes him great is that he can do that, but that can't be his whole game. He's got to be around the basket, and he probably needs to get a little stronger. Because I noticed, like guys like Anunoby, push him all over the place. So being 7'5" is one thing, but if you're not strong enough, that was the one thing that we talked about on this. I talked to you about it on this show. That when he came in the league, that I wasn't sold on him because of his frame.
Yeah.
And
That's a very good point on your part too, because we've seen guys who are very good, who are very tall, come out, and because they're not strong,
Chet Holmgren.
Yep.
I know that's where you're going.
I mean, I actually wasn't, so I was just kind of saying in general, but
same kind of frame.
That is true. That is true. I don't want to compare Wemby to Chet Holmgren because it's disrespectful, but I see. No, what you're saying is correct though, because you see guys who are so tall and have so much production, like in the leagues or college or whatever overseas that they play before they enter the draft, and they're impressive. But when they get to the big boy leagues, you want to say, they get pushed around. I mean, this is a physical game. Speaking of physical, I know it's probably going to be annoying that they won, and I'm complaining about the refs, but I don't know if you saw it, but Victor Wembanyama got away with a lot of stuff in this series. There was multiple times where he could have gotten a flagrant and then been gone for another game. For example, the push to the back of Brunson, that's a flagrant foul. That's a flagrant foul. Let's go. And then in this game, it ended up not mattering because there wasn't another game. Yeah. But Wemby, I remember, I think it was either OG or somebody else, Josh Hart maybe. They were closing out on Champagne's shot, and they landed in his landing space, and they got a flagrant for it.
Mm-hmm.
When Wembanyama did that to Brunson this game, they didn't call it. And Jalen Brunson was absolutely heated at that, and I was like, man, I don't know how that guy stayed that calm, because it wasn't a secret. Wemby was getting protected heavily.
Well, they didn't. If there was another game, they didn't want him suspended. Could you imagine Game 6 and Wembanyama suspended? What kind of game would that have been? That would have been So yeah, they weren't going to call it on him, and so that brings into question the what do you want to call it? People already are suspicious of NBA games and stuff, sports in general, because of all the gambling. And, the fix is in there. That's the big top thing now. All the fix was in there.
Yep.
Well, when things like that happen, and there's not a flagrant call, an obvious flagrant, even though I don't like that that's a flagrant foul, I don't think it should be, but that's the rule.
Yeah.
And you called it on the other team, the Knicks, so you got to call it on him, and they didn't. Because they knew if they did, and there was a Game 6, he wouldn't be able to play. So they got to figure that out.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you hear people say the fix is in, I know you get upset at that, but when stuff like that happens,
it leads to it. That's why people say that.
That's why it happens. I mean, you can't protect players like that if you're going to be inconsistent. It's one thing if they let that go on the Knicks, but they didn't, and they let it happen with Wembanyama. So I mean, it's definitely something that the league needs to fix, because that was ridiculous. I mean, I wasn't necessarily rooting for the Knicks. I kind of was kind of neutral, just kind of trying to watch and enjoy it, but that kind of got me upset, because I don't know. I just hate inconsistent officiating. Yeah. It's one of the most infuriating things in sports.
It is. It didn't bother me because I wanted to see him in the game, but it should. I mean, if I was on the other team, if I was rooting for the Knicks, it would definitely bother me. And
they absolutely have every right to feel that way.
Yes. I was rooting for the Spurs because I can't stand the Knicks fans more than anything. The Knicks team, I don't mind. The guys they're all good guys. They're all guys from Villanova that I rooted for. I liked that Villanova team that won the championship.
Oh yeah.
So, but the New York fans, especially, I don't even want to get into it because we're kind of losing. We're kind of close on time.
Are you talking about the guys going crazy in the streets?
That, and then all the celebrities that are there at the game on Madison Square Garden, like Taylor Swift, who's all of a sudden she's at a New York Knicks game where in the series before she was rooting for the Cavs against the Knicks.
Yeah,
that kind of like.
Oh, and Monica McNutt from ESPN?
Yeah, she called
She
him out.
called her out, and Swifties are upset at her, and
Right.
I'm like, wow. I mean, she's not wrong. I mean,
She's
she
like,
was literally just rooting against the Knicks.
she's not. She didn't think she was on air. She's like, she's not a Knicks fan. Get out of here, girl. Something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
And I mean, yeah, the Knicks,
it's the fans.
the fans in the crowd are absolutely insane. I think a lot of the media assumes these people, like they classify everyone in New York as a Knicks fan. Most of the people like setting these buses on fire and destroying
They're just
NYPD cars,
agitators.
they are probably kids or adults that are realizing they have an excuse to cause a riot,
Yeah.
and they're taking advantage of it. I think we should be careful with who we classify as Knicks fans, because a lot of these people doing this crap in the streets are not Knicks fans. They're just people looking to cause trouble,
Yeah.
and they have an excuse to do it.
Yeah. That's all. You see that almost every time somebody wins a championship, especially one like this.
I know we're running close on time, but I really wanted to comment on this. The NBA from here on out, if they're gonna have the people play in New York City, they cannot be walking outside, because Wembanyama got egged in the head by a New York fan.
I know that was crazy.
That can't happen.
Yeah.
If you got to protect with how much you were protecting him in the game, it doesn't seem like he has much protection outside of the stadium.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. They have these Knicks fans all outside, and the players are just walking outside in front of the fans.
Yeah, they have a better secure area for them to get out of there. Because that's crazy. Plus, I heard that there were a bunch of Knicks fans that bought hotel rooms near where the Spurs were staying, so they could harass them and stuff. So, I mean, that's low. I can't stand fans that do that kind of thing. Just keep it to the game itself. When the game's over, you don't need to be.
I'm here for celebrating, but whatever this junk is, I'm not.
Yeah, it's over the line, and
it is.
Unfortunately, you see that with every fan base. And when there's like you said, an excuse like a 50-year drought for a championship, so in New York, certain fan, whether you call them fans or whatever they are, use it like you said, an excuse, and it's too bad. But as much as it pains me to say this, I got to give congratulations to the Knicks. 53-year drought. What a championship. What a team. Came back in all 5 games to win, and games that they could have lost. The bounce of the ball goes a different way, but Jalen Brunson closed it out for them, and kudos to the Knicks.
I think there's one more thing we have to do before we go to Players of the Week, both of us. Mike Brown. We were wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
About you. And I apologize.
Yeah, we were on the Thibodeau, like he got wrong. I still think he got wronged. I don't think he deserved to get fired. It looks good now, though, because I don't think he gets his team there. Because Mike Brown, I got to give him credit. He developed the bench that Thibodeau would not do.
That's the thing. That's the thing I think
pushed him
made
over
the
the
difference. He trusted his bench, and that's something Tibbs didn't do. And got to give kudos to that. And Mike Brown and the Knicks are NBA champions. Congratulations to them. With that, let's lead to our This is Plays of the Week, and here is our first one coming from Carolina and Vegas. Mitch Marner on the breakaway. Slop shot, scores! Mitch Marner with a second period hat trick.
Unbelievable. How did he get a hat trick in the second period? That's just unreal.
And to put it in perspective for you, he also had an assist this period as well.
He had himself a series in a game, basically.
In a period.
In a period, yeah.
Coming from Spurs and Knicks. Off to Brunson for the win over Wembanyama. No good. OG the inbounder tips it in, and gives New York the win.
Unbelievable. And the comeback is over.
It's complete. This hang it up. OG Anunoby completes the 29-point comeback. with a tip-in.
Unbelievable.
Coming from. With that being said, that will conclude our episode here today on PM Sport Talk. Once again, I'm Preston Ayotte, joined by my father, Michael Ayotte, and we'll see you guys on the next episode. Goodbye.